Oh, well,
you rebel.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome, but with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
Tonight is really fun. Tonight on the Red Couch, we have Aggie and we have Sam Janney from Twitchy, or you guys know her as Politibunny.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
Am I live? Is this real? Sorry. Yay, we're on the couch. Hi, Jody. How are you?
I'm so good. People may not know this, but I've known Sam for years. Like years.
God,
years.
Over a decade, right?
God, it feels like 25 years, Sam. You know?
It's more like a generation thing. Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
I know.
God, so old.
Yeah. We have a really fun show planned tonight because we're going to talk Virginia. They're just batshit crazy in Virginia.
Yes,
so
we are.
We got to figure that out, and then we may be able to touch a little bit on the impeachment stuff, which is because I okay, I'm going to just go back. I am going to touch on it because today the video of Chuck Schumer walking in and he goes to sit down. There's nobody in the seat, but he's talking to somebody in the seat, making it look like he's asking them to get out of his chair. Okay, you guys, what was that?
I think maybe he sees dead people. I don't know. Maybe it's a sixth sense all over again. Who knows? Or he may have been hallucinating. It's possible. He's pretty up there in age.
I think he's hallucinating. I do. Because that video is so funny.
I just think he's a moron, and he thought he was being funny, and he wasn't, or he was trying to be, look at me, I'm so funny talking in my chair, and no, you're an idiot, please sit down. God, I'm sorry, I'm so sick of all of them, and I don't like any of them, so I'm having a really hard time thinking anything but they're an asshole.
Well, I'm thinking it explains why the left is so crazy, because they're hearing voices. So...
They're seeing people.
They see things. They see things we don't see. And now it all makes sense.
It all makes sense. No wonder they're so insane. It all makes sense. No, it doesn't. They're just schmucks. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of them.
Oh, I know it. Oh, my God. I had to tune it out today. I tried listening.
Nope, yeah. I can't. I really thought, Obama's voice made me insane. Adam Schiff is the new Obama for me. I just cannot tolerate him, and I hear him speaking, I'm like, oh, I'm done, click. I'm out of here.
Oh, it's awful. And look at him. Doesn't he look like the villain in some sort of Austin Powers movie?
He looks like he has a thyroid issue. His eyes pop out of his head, and his little neck, and he's one of the people you just want to, I'm not a violent, well, okay, that's not fair. I'm not typically a violent person, but I'd just like to punch him once really good. So bad. And I think it stems from having watched him do this crap for so long, and I know a lot of people were fangirling and fanboying over his performance today, and I just wanted to rip my hair out of my head because he's so awful and he's such a liar. And I know this is later in the show, but they're making me insane. Every single one of these Democrats and then these managers, that word, they're managers. I mean, it's just so stupid, the whole damn thing.
It is. You know what I was hoping? I'm hoping when it's our turn that Sekulow is just going to stand up and pull a Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny and say everything that guy said is bullshit.
I would love that. Do you
there? So pay back to see that.
Chad Felix Green, he was talking about how they all talk to each other. The good senator from the state up north, and the great senator from the state out west, and the good representative from California, whatever. He's going to say, that bitch is lying. I was like, I love that. Because they play that whole, the good senator from Virginia doesn't know what he's talking about, and Chad's like, that bitch is lying. I was like, yes,
oh my God, that would be, I think I'd pay to see that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Be awesome.
Oh my, well, that's kind of if they Trumpified the whole thing, that's what you would have. And
oh my God, just think of the tax dollars we could rake in if they put it on pay-per-view.
It'd be great. We could we could fund all the entitlement programs for at least a year.
I think you're right.
It's doing capitalism.
Every road and bridge. And they could say, hey, do you want new roads and bridges? Tune in tonight. Well, so it would be hilarious. So, okay, so we're going to get back on track.
Okay.
Sam, please tell us what you saw.
Oh my gosh. So on Monday, since I am a Virginian and we're as crazy as, California now, we actually, what was really cool was it was lobby day. And typically that's when Virginians go up to the state capitol and hey, we want to totally lobby for this bill, or we want to advocate for this issue. And it became all about the Second Amendment, and it was this VCDL.org, and I can't remember what that stands for, but they're the ones who actually put together this great gun rally. And really, there have been hundreds of these rallies around the state of Virginia since they started pulling this crap about taking guns, red flag laws, yada, yada, yada. And not one of these has been violent. Nobody has been hurt. There are 91 out of 95 counties here passing resolutions to go against what they're trying to do with guns in the state. So when Northam came out and said, oh my God, this is a state of emergency, all these gun people are coming, it was like he was trying to start a fight. And he probably was, because he's a schmuck. But so he does this whole thing last week. He makes a big deal about how there's going to be all these evil gun people around the state and calls a state of emergency. And for days before the actual rally, we see these huge vehicles and this police presence. And it looks like a war zone downtown because they've got the Capitol all fenced off. There are cops on every corner. It does. It looks like a demilitarized zone in Richmond, Virginia. And it was basically Thursday, Friday, and I said to my husband, I think we need to go. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll take you, because I didn't want to go by myself, and he didn't want me to go by myself because we knew I'd get in trouble. So he
wise.
Yes, he's known me a long time, my husband, and so he decides he's going to take me down, and so it was really kind of intimidating, though, because everything you're seeing online is don't go, it's a trap. They're going to try and mark you all as domestic terrorists and arrest you. People were joking about starting a GoFundMe for me just in case I got arrested. I think they were joking, but, so it was a little intimidating, but we're like, fuck it, we're going. So we head downtown, and immediately what you realize is this is not scary. And you're around thousands and thousands of good guys with guns. When we come out of the parking garage, there are these huge semis, and they're decked out in American flags, and they're honking their horns, and there are people everywhere, and it's freaking freezing. It's like 25 degrees, and the wind chill is, I don't know, butt cold, and it's 16-mile-per-hour gusts, and it's freezing, and there's people all bundled up, but they have their flags, and they're carrying their guns, and it was amazing. Everyone's very polite. Good morning. Excuse me. How you doing? Passing out buttons, passing out stickers. I mean, it was everything you'd expect from a bunch of responsible gun owners. We get up there. The streets are so packed around the Capitol that you almost can't walk. And that was a little intimidating because, if the shit goes down, you're not getting out because you are people to people. But luckily, my husband is huge. He's like 6'3" almost. And so I could see him anywhere. And he kept a hold of me everywhere we went. But it was great because it wasn't just a bunch of old rich, old fat white guys with their guns and hee-haw, we're going to go shoot and be, rednecks. It was women and men, and there were families, and there were black people and Hispanic people, and there were women with guns, and there were gays with guns.
Wait. There were black people and
yes.
Hispanic people, and they had guns?
They did. And the the Black Panthers were there. And the Black Panthers... I'm serious. But the Black Panthers were like, this law is bullshit, down with the man. So the Black Panthers and all the gun advocates are together. The gays with guns were there, and they were very happy. I'm just kidding. Don't get all pissed off. They were happy. They were
very gay.
They were very flamboyant and happy and fluttering about with their pretty little guns. But who gives a shit? They were there. There were, like families of babies, and there were kids, which I'll admit, and the mother of me is like, oh my God, don't bring your kid to these things. But it was great. It was like, I spend so much time writing about this crap that you get burned out and you forget what you're writing about and why you're writing and what you're writing for. And you get out and you're with these people and you hear them talking, and it was like what I needed. I'm like, okay, this is why I do what I do. But it was also really cool because you hear all this crap online and you forget who they are. And my favorite, and the thing that they're really talking about online, is this picture of it's like a line of men, and they're cosplaying, they're all dressed up like army folk, they're such idiots. And what this group was called, they're called the Silent Brigade. And I actually stopped to talk to them because they were all lined up down the street. Some of them were all decked out in army gear. Some were just like, it was freaking cold, and they had scarves. And of course, that's the other big thing is we thought masks were illegal in Richmond. They should arrest all these people. I'm like, you dumbasses. It was freaking cold. Those are scarves. But they're all in line. They got their huge, these are some big weapons, and they're standing at attention. And for me, it was one of those moments of, this is real. And I stopped and I thought, I'm going to ask these guys before I take their picture, because this is not someone you just take their picture. And I said, hey guys, do you mind if I take your picture? And the one guy said to me, well, I'm not hiding. And I had my big sunglasses on, so I took my sunglasses off and I said, neither am I. And what was interesting when I did that was he handed me a patch for their brigade. So basically he was making me a part of the silent brigade.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is
so
cool.
But damn, they were really cool. And they all I said, hey, do any of you care? And they're like, no, ma'am. And they're all, that very, you could tell there was some military, there was some LEO. It was really cool. And they stood at attention. Let me take their picture. It was a beautiful picture. And of course I posted it and everyone's like, look at them dumb guys and their small penises. Hee-haw. And I'm like, no. These were men. And you go ahead and talk about their small penises. I'll be on the other side of the street. Because these were some big guys. And, and they were all business. This was not about, he said, we're not hiding. And I was like, well, good for you. Neither am I. Fuck yeah, let's get out there. This is who we are. And this is bullshit. And, the only Nazi stuff I saw was about Northam. So I was like, okay, well, there we are.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
Cam Edwards was there. He was one of the speakers. And unfortunately, we were so far away from the Capitol where he was.
Oh, bummer.
That we didn't get to hear much. We heard, rah, 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 and people kept cheering. So we knew it was good. What was interesting was the fenced area. Very few people wanted to go inside the fenced area. Mainly because, you couldn't go in if you were armed, and most of these people were armed. But it was also this fear of one entrance, just one way to get in and only like two ways to get out. And if there's a problem, you're really screwed. Northam really felt like he was trying to create a nasty situation so that he could paint these gun owners as bad people and say, see why we need these laws in Virginia, see why we need to restrict the Second Amendment. These are dangerous people. And there was one asshole there who tried to start some stuff. Now, I didn't see this happen, but I did read about it online. He clearly was a plant. He said, let's jump that fence and go kill people. And the gunner's like, you shut your fucking mouth. I mean, it was vicious on him and he ran. Good. Yeah, you're like, no, shut up. It was bad. But
didn't they arrest somebody like days before?
Arrested,
planning something?
Well, here's the thing. They arrested like 7 different people, 4 of which I never saw. One was, and this sounds like a bad joke, one was an illegal immigrant Canadian Nazi. I'm not making that up. And then the other 2 of these faceless guys we never saw. And apparently there was this big plot to come in and shoot people. And this is all bullshit. I think this was all just about how can we intimidate people to keep them away? Right, how can we continue to propagate a stereotype so that people don't think we're insane for trying to trampling their rights? How can we paint them as the villain and we're the victim? Ralph is really, really stupid. And it's one of those things where I am not used to that. I come from red Wyoming and everybody's pretty smart about what they do. I worked under Governor Meade, so I know what a governor is supposed to do. And Ralph doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Getting on national TV after he'd been found in a yearbook, maybe in blackface or in a Klan hood, showing people how you put blackface on is not how a governor behaves. So this whole thing with a state of emergency over a protest tells you exactly how stupid he is. And then he went on Twitter and he said, I'm so glad we were able to put some things in place and keep it peaceful. I'm like, you son of a bitch. There was nothing there. He talked about how he de-escalated things. Yes, putting up a giant fence and bringing in all these SWAT vehicles totally de-escalated the situation. But,
Well, and weren't there police there that were taking pictures with people in the crowd? Like all friendly?
Oh, yeah. I actually had my picture taken with some LEOs and some sheriffs. They were great. The sheriffs were all sitting. They had like this big banner. A lot of sheriffs from Virginia are saying they will not enforce any laws that these assholes put forward. With all the sanctuary cities, of course, and sanctuary counties in Virginia. It's going to be like Richmond is the only one that basically is going to obey any of these bullshit laws, which is funny because they're the only ones who really want it, and that's fine. Go for it. There was actually people from West Virginia saying, there's this resolution on deck here that, you guys could join West Virginia and you could leave Virginia. You could take all of these different counties and become part of our state. Because, this has happened before when they didn't get along over slavery. West Virginia said, I'm out of here. Well, we could do this again over guns, which was interesting. I actually saw them on the street. But the cops were really great. The armed security around the state capitol was a little intimidating because they were all decked out in SWAT. They were far scarier than any of the cosplay guys. And they all had big, huge masks on because it was cold, so it was really cool. It was one of those things where I'm going to be really glad I went probably for a long, long time. It was intimidating because, they tried to kind of pad their hand and scare us into not coming. But I'm really glad we did. And that my husband was there made it so much better. I'm not sure I could have gone by myself because it was 22,000 people at the end of the day that were down there. They did have one arrest during the protest or the rally or whatever you want to call it. And it was some idiot protester who had a bandana on her face and refused to take it off. That was the big arrest. Actually, and then after the rally, people stayed cleaned up. There was no mess. There was nothing.
Was it Jane Fonda? Was it Jane Fonda?
I wish it had been really funny. But no, it was somebody who I probably shouldn't call her a she because she probably would find that offensive. I couldn't tell at first if it was she or he. So they got arrested for wearing a bandana. But otherwise, there was no fighting. There was no trash. There was no mess. There was no destruction. There was no vandalizing. It was just a bunch of people there singing the national anthem, saying the Pledge of Allegiance, saying they would not comply. It was just cool. And then, you probably saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got all flipped out because there weren't enough cops, and there were all these Confederate flags. I saw one Confederate flag, and it was nothing. It was a little tiny flag off to the side.
Was it Hammy?
Yes, it was Hamilton. He was there. He was there.
Hammy? No, our Hammy.
Yes.
Because we had that show that a few years ago back on the Confederate flag.
Originally he's like, what time are you going to go down? I'm like, well, we'll be there around 10 o'clock. And he's like, okay, I'll text you. We'll find each other. He texted me like 11:45. I'm like, dude, I left. I was freaking cold. I'm having lunch, we lasted like all of 2 hours, but it was definitely worth it. I know that there were some different little rallies across the country kind of supporting Virginia. If you are in a state where they have something like this, I would highly suggest you go. Don't let the media scare you into not supporting gun owners. They are probably you'll probably in that group among some of the safest people you're going to be around. It was really humbling. It was very humbling for me to be around these people who so much love and wanted to protect not only their rights but mine, and knowing that if the shit went down, they'd be the first to step forward and defend and protect me. So it was really a great experience. So if you get a chance and you can support your local gun owners or yourself, get out there and do it. It's worth it.
That's awesome. Now you just said like everybody, Aggie had a point she wanted to make because people were giving her grief about being Hispanic and having a gun.
No. Really?
That's crazy.
That's so unheard of. I can't imagine.
Well, it was I tweeted to Oliver Willis had made mention that there are no blacks or browns that are allowed to have guns or whatever.
He's such a dumbass.
And I replied, I said, well, I'm brown and I carry just fine. And I had one person, just only one, that actually questioned my street cred on this, and basically said, if you're brown, I'm purple. And I was so close to just saying, so are you from planet Zebatoid or something like that? I don't know what I was going to say.
People are so stupid.
But I told him straight out, I'm Puerto Rican, and he proceeds to say to me that just because I'm Hispanic, that does not make me brown, because I'm very fair of skin. And I cannot call myself that. And I was like, whoa, dude, I don't call myself that. Willis calls me that. The Democrats call me a brown person because I'm Hispanic. All across the board, everything that I've always heard, even when I was a Democrat, was that Hispanics are all brown people, regardless of the color, the actual color of the melanin tone of the skin. We were brown.
Oh, wait a minute. Unless you're attacking somebody in Florida, then you're a white Hispanic.
And that was the beginning. That's right. And that was the beginning of that schism, because George Zimmerman, as you all recall, this was a big, the Democrats latched onto this, and then it came out that he was a Democrat and he was Hispanic. Oh, no, he's the wrong kind of he's a white Hispanic. And I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? We've been told all our lives that a Hispanic was just a Hispanic. We were brown people. And this is what I call the convenience of color. Then it doesn't happen to blacks much, but it does happen to them every so often, especially the ones that happen to have fair skin. But like me, myself, I've been accused for passing many times. I've also been accused of trying to pretend to be Chinese, which I have no idea why, but for some reason people think that I'm Chinese.
That happens to me too. I tell you what, people think I'm Chinese all the time, Maggie, you know. I'm like, hey, really?
Honest to God, I never got that. I'm like, I don't know how you think I'm from Asia or anything, but okay.
I don't see that. I mean, you're lovely, and I think you look Puerto Rican. I mean, it's like, hello, boom, it's beautiful, live energy, and I know that's probably, I don't know, but you don't look Chinese. Although I will tell you today that I had some crazy person in my mentions like screaming at me, and I think it was English, but this person chimes in, you know, Chinese is my first language, and even I'm better at this than you are. And I pissed myself. Like, oh my God, that was really funny. Chinese is my first language, and even I'm better at writing in English than you are. And I'm sorry, that's reminded me of that. Chinese, yeah, it happens to me too, Aggie.
I've been accused of, you know, that people have thought that I was Chinese. Some people have thought I was Filipino, Hawaiian, obviously white, and you know, and everybody, you know, freaks. Especially when I was in college back in the 80s, my anthropology professor actually kind of freaked out a little bit because she pulled me aside after class because we were all doing. This was actually a humanities course, and we were talking about different races and creeds and nationalities and whatnot. And she pulled me aside and said, "You're Puerto Rican?" And I said, "Yes, I'm Puerto Rican." She's like, "I have never, ever met someone with such dark eyes and dark hair and such fair skin and be Puerto Rican. I've never seen it." And I'm like,
go to Puerto Rico?
No, she never did. She actually, most of her work was done in Mali. This was the professor, remember that professor that wigged out and went off on a Trump rampage and got kicked out of school? Professor Detweiler.
Oh,
she was my mentor in college. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was her. And let me tell you, back then, that woman was sane. I don't know what happened. Believe me, I can tell you right now, she was my mentor. Not
TDS.
Yeah. It really is. And it has taken so many. But that was my professor. She was my mentor. And, you know, and she actually asked me to speak at several of her classes because a lot of people had this preconceived notion that a Hispanic always is this shade of skin, this shade of brown, or their skin is this shade, you know, that kind of thing. And I mean, I had it in sociology too. That my sociology professor, she really, in my opinion, was bigoted. I'm not going to say racist, but she did have certain prejudices. And one day she was talking about people in the Caribbean and whatnot. And of course, you know, my ears perked up. And she said that Cubans are very fair of skin and have very straight hair and all that stuff, whereas Puerto Ricans tend to be very dark of skin and have kinky hair and favor more black people. And I'm sitting next to my girlfriend is Cuban. I know my girlfriend is Cuban. She's really, really dark, and her hair, she had beautiful hair, but it was, you know, kinky hair and I loved her hair. Anyway, she and I were looking at each other going, is she on crack? So we raised our hand and we told her, it's like, well, I'm Puerto Rican. And my friend says, and I'm Cuban. It's like, oh, well, you guys are just, let's go with what I'm saying because I'm right. That's what the professor said. So I was like, this is not going to work for me. So, but that's something that I started noticing, especially after the George Zimmerman debacle, that there was a convenience to differentiating Hispanics on the basis of the color of their skin. They couldn't do it very well to blacks, but they could do it to Hispanics. And it's used to drive wedges you know, with people. And I was telling this kid, you know, I don't call myself brown. That's what the Democrats call me. And he says, well, you're fair of skin. It's like, it doesn't matter what color I am. I'm telling you what they tell me. And that's why I left that party, because I didn't want to be classified. I just see myself as an American. Even my Puerto Rican family back home gets upset with me because I consider myself an American. I just happen to be a Puerto Rican one. And they think that I have tossed out my entire history and my nationality and my roots and whatnot. Well, they're American when it's convenient too. So,
of course.
Let's not,
well, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we are going to hear about the rest of the crazy in Virginia, because while all this other stuff was happening, they were passing some crazy laws. So we will be right back.
Get your man about the red wine. Get up. Get your man about the red wine. I can't get up out of bed with this crazy feeling in my head. I said, get up. Get your man about the red wine. No, get up. Get your man about the red wine. Oh, get up. Get your man about the red wine.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Get up, get your man about the red wine. Get up, get your man about the red wine. I can't get up out of bed with this crazy feeling in my head. I said, get up, get your man about the red wine. Get up, get your man about the red wine. Oh,
Welcome back. We are say hello, ladies.
Hello, we're still here.
Oh, hi.
I have so many names. I'm like, it's Sam or Foo. Just Foo or Sam. I don't know. Sam works. Let's do Sam because I get all confused. Sam.
Okay. So
Foo is here for this.
Foo.
So
freaking chat.
Sam,
yes. Sorry.
You need to tell us what is going on in your state.
Oh, do I really want to talk about Virginia? Oh my God, it's a mess. Since we are stupid and Northern Virginia basically pulled us backwards, they elected a guy who is a known pedophile. He's been arrested for it. Married his underage secretary because she had a baby. Joe Morrissey is his name. Yeah, if you get bored and want to see something really disgusting, look Joe Morrissey in Virginia. And basically what they're doing is they have this huge liberal stronghold on the state. So beyond even the gun laws, they're looking at giving our electoral votes to whoever wins the popular vote because, they otherwise Democrats can never win again. They're looking at extending the governors from 4 years to 8 years. Yeah, that's a fun one. Let's see what else was there. Those are the two big ones that I'm really concerned about.
Popular vote, right?
They want to basically what they're going to do is they're going to take it has to be so many other states that do it too. They want to do it where no matter who wins the electoral vote, let's say Trump wins all of our electoral votes, it won't matter if the Democrat wins the popular vote, our electoral votes go to that Democrat. So basically, it's their way of making the popular vote more important in electoral and shitting all over the Constitution because that's the only way they can win. So those are the two that really bother me the most. And then the governor going from 4 years to 8 years is terrifying, especially when you
didn't they change it too, where the governor isn't going to be voted in by the popular vote? Like they're going to change how your vote is done for governor?
That one I'm not sure about. I haven't seen much on that one. The only two I've seen actually out are the ones about the Electoral College and extending the governor's term. I'll have to look in because, there's so much stuff that's being said that's not true because Virginia is a crazy shitstorm right now. I think people are not, I think some of it's kind of not true, but it's very possible. They could definitely take away our ability to elect people. It is a scary time in the state, and it's funny because, you come from a red Wyoming where you kind of take this stuff for granted, and I did. And you come to supposedly purple Virginia, and it's really a scary environment. I know that they are looking at the abortion bills again. This is the state where that horrible cow wanted to pass the legislation that you could abort a baby after it had been born, which is, technically seriously murder. And Northam said, keep the baby comfortable if he survives an abortion so that he's not suffering until you kill him, things like that. The state is in trouble. And it's interesting because, we used to make fun of Illinois. You didn't make fun of California. We still make fun of New York City and New York. But Virginia's right up there. They got all the crazy people in Florida, but we got real problems in Virginia as well. And it's all political. And it's what's happening is we have the D.C. people are up in Northern Virginia because it's too damn expensive to live in D.C. So they migrate up into the Arlington area, which is, basically D.C. And those are the people who are voting for all this liberal crap and making it really hard for the people in the middle of the state and southern state to even, tread water. And again, it's that same mentality that you see from East Coast elites and the West Coast elites who don't really care about people in the middle of the country. And this is going to sound kind of, I don't want to be belligerent, but it kind of is. It feels like their hatred of Trump is not just Trump. Their hatred is about the people who support Trump. It is about the flyover country. It is about the people. It is the real Americans that they have problems with. Trump, I think, is just like a side effect of all of this. And it's interesting because originally all of this impeachment was like, okay, they just hate Trump. They can't deal with Trump. They hate that Trump won. And now that I've been watching it for so long and I have a lot of tinfoil on my head, I am starting to think that this was bigger. And this is about, Democrats really crave power and how can they keep themselves in power. And this all sounds crazy, I know, but it's really one of those things when you get into these states and you watch how they do things, even at the city council level. So We get it here, and there's no, like, we live in a village, so we don't have a huge village, but a village. But the City Council of Richmond does broadcast their stuff. And so my husband will put it on just to hear me scream and yell and curse at the TV. And it is interesting because everything is about raising taxes in the city of Richmond. Well, we need to dump more money into our schools because the schools in Richmond, Virginia are shit. I'm sorry if you have kids in the schools in Richmond, Virginia, but they're shit. And their solution is not to get rid of these unions that are taking a lot of money. As usual, their solution is to raise taxes and dump more money into the unions because that will help the schools, but it does not. They just recently did a whole 10-cent tax on food downtown in Richmond, so all these small businesses are struggling to stay afloat because they're having to charge their customers this extra bit of money. Customers are like, screw that, I'll go eat out in the burbs where it's not, they don't have this extra tax. It's really bad. And so you look at this, what's going on in Virginia and the East Coast and the West Coast, and you realize that this is bigger than Trump. This is about a group of people who despises the other half of the country. And I don't think you see that with the right. I mean, we make fun of the left. They infuriate us. But we don't want to take their rights away from them. We don't want to take their voice away from them. We tell them to shut up and go away. But we don't want to make it where they can't vote and where they don't count. And it feels like what we're seeing is they want to make it where we don't count. And that's what's scary right now. And in Virginia especially.
Yes. Well, that's what happened here in Colorado,
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly... this is how it happened. Suddenly we went to no more voter ID, same day voter registration. And what do you know? Our purple state goes completely blue.
Yeah.
So odd how that happens. But it's same thing. We are now the popular vote versus the electoral college. Which is so dumb because you would think a small state like Colorado that only gets 4 would be like all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same with our gun laws. It was crazy. We had a lot of people end up getting recalled. I'm hoping this next election, I'm really hoping Trump spends money here because I do think we could maybe see some of those seats go back to being red.
Well, I also saw in your state that some of the northern counties, I think Weld was one of the big ones I saw, are talking about seceding from Colorado and becoming part of Wyoming.
Oh yeah. So it's craziness. It's right now. Hoping next November things kind of reset. So we'll see what happens. It all depends. Honestly, like I said, when you have same day voter registration, once a vote is cast, it's cast.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know how many illegal votes there were unless you're? I just It is very hard to do that, to go back and audit, even though I have a feeling we're going to be doing that a lot next November. I think it's going to be crazy nationwide.
Yeah, and I really was taken, I was caught off guard because, again, and I hate to say it, back in Wyoming, but in Wyoming, you don't see a lot of this dirty politics. You just don't, because everybody knows everybody, and if you screw up, you're going to have to deal with somebody, Out here, when Northern was running against Gillespie, and they had all these ads of this big black truck trying to run over these little Hispanic kids, and it had a Gillespie bumper sticker on the back. I'm not kidding. These were all over. These were like on mainstream news. I mean, I was flabbergasted that these were real ads. And it was a Trump bumper sticker on one side and a Gillespie, and they had a Confederate flag flying on it, and this huge black truck trying to run over these immigrant kids. This was one of Northern's things. It was so dirty. And, what happened originally, too, is like with the senators, we were trying to remove Kane, and they had this great guy, Nick's last name I can't remember, of course. Nick Freitas. He was running, and he was going to go up against, Kane, who you probably all know because he tried to be VP under the HAG, but it didn't work. Well, anyway, Kane,
right.
Magically, there's this horrible candidate named Corey Stewart. Corey Stewart is everything gross and terrible that you've heard about Donald Trump's followers. He's racist, bigot, Zionist, anti-Semitic piece of crap. He's terrible. He's from Minnesota, too. He's not even from Virginia. But anyway, Corey comes up, and Corey challenges Nick, and magically Northern Virginia votes for this racist guy. I don't wonder why that is, And so then Corey goes up against Kane, and Corey just gets blasted. I couldn't even vote for the guy. I'm like, I'm not voting for anybody. I wrote in somebody. because I'm not going to give my vote to this guy.
Right.
And I knew I think Kane beat him by like 60 points or something. It was ridiculous.
Right.
But this is what they're doing. And this is even with what we're seeing in the impeachment. It's all about optics. It's not about what they're really working at. It's what they want you to see. And all they wanted people to see with Gillespie was, well, he's a redneck racist who supports Trump. And look at Corey Stewart. This is the best the GOP has. He won in Northern Virginia even. It was such bullshit. And this is what you're seeing now is the House. This is what makes me crazy because I've been watching it. Before I started covering it, I wouldn't know diddly squat probably. That they did so many dirty things on the House. The Republicans didn't get to call any witnesses. The president didn't get to defend himself. The president didn't get to see any of the evidence. The president's attorney couldn't be present. I mean, it was a complete railroad. And, they talk about, well, Trump blocked these witnesses. Well, then they leave out the part that Trump went to the judicial, which was his right. The Democrats decided not to pursue it because they were in such a big damn hurry to get him impeached. They leave that part out. So all these idiots on the left are like, if Trump wasn't guilty, why did he block these people? Well, he really didn't. They just didn't try and bring him. And so, again, it's optics. Now you see it in the Senate. What's happening on the Senate side is they're like, they wouldn't let us finish. They blocked we should bring these witnesses now. And people are like, yeah, Trump hit it, and he kept them from doing their job. And I'm like, holy shit. This is exactly what we're seeing everywhere. And it's all about optics. It's not about what's really happening.
Well, that's why I wish, don't you think that the Republicans do a piss poor job of getting their message out sometimes?
Terrible.
When it comes to that.
Oh my God.
That seriously, that should have been the main thing. Wait a minute. We really did want, it wasn't that we didn't want Bolton to testify, that if they really wanted Bolton, they could have gone through the courts. They should have said that over and over.
But the problem is, even if Republicans say it, even if Republicans say that, even if you scream it at the top of your lungs that this is what happened, when you have 90% of the freaking media saying what they want, Democrats want to be said, that's what they hear. You have the little idiots going, no, wait, there was more to it. They don't care.
But that's why Dennis Prager says Republicans need to speak in sound bites. They need to learn to talk in sound bites because they know the only thing that's going to get reported is one little sentence that they say, as opposed to cherry picking what the other side says.
So Chad, Texas Green thing of that bitch is lying is what we need.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. There you go. That bitch is lying.
It makes me crazy.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Correct.
That's why I think Sekulow has to actually say everything that guy said is bullshit and sit down. And
he's right. He decimated. Right. He completely annihilated Adam Schiff when he came in with his opening statement. It was fantastic. I sat in my little chair going, yay, kick his ass. So I'm such a geek because you get excited about, some cooking show or I don't know, music or some, and now I'm like all excited about some, yay, this trial is kicking his ass. Yay, he's a senator. It's so dumb. Sorry. I've become a political geek.
Can you imagine Justice Roberts, though, listening to all this, thinking that the Democrats even have any sort of a case?
He knows. Nobody does. The only people who think that they have anything already want Trump removed. And people like Rubin who want him removed. I swear to God, I thought that woman was going to orgasm today on Twitter talking about him. And I'm sorry to make that visual in your head, but it was mine. So I'm going to share it with all of you. God love you. She was so excited about his performance, and I'm like, "Oh my God, lady, you need to get laid because this is so creepy that you were excited. This is gross."
I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was horrible.
It was disgusting. I'm like, I'm going to throw up in my mouth. I can't believe it's so gross. And it was, she fangirled. It was a Rubin-gasm. It was so bad. It was so gross.
No.
And then, gross. You've got people like Tom Nichols. Who are saying, sorry, guys, he's going to get acquitted, but he's going to lose in November. And I'm like, how is this protecting the Constitution, you guys? I don't get it. And then the Lincoln Project, did you see this today? They're going after Susan Collins. They're threatening her, basically. And this is another Bill Kristol thing with all these nonpartisan people like Molly Jong-Fast. She's nonpartisan.
They're going to get Bernie. That's what I don't know what they think they're going to get. They're going to get Bernie in the fall if they keep this shit up. Well, and then they're going to wonder why we're all socialists and they don't have guns and they are giving up all their rich money, because all of those people that are TDS are wealthy. So.
And they want Biden, and Biden can't remember what day it is, so it's not going to happen. It just can't.
No,
and
I know.
I'm to the point where I feel sorry for Biden. I can't even, like, part of my job is to go, oh, look what that dumbass just said, ha, I'm going to rip him up, you know. And it's really easy with people like Kamala Harris was really easy. Warren's really easy. Bernie's really easy. Biden's not, because I'm like, oh, he said something stupid. Oh, it's like your dumb grandpa, you know, he's got dementia. You don't want to pick on him.
It's embarrassing.
This is what it feels like.
Is. Well, I'll tell you what. I have friends still in Iowa because we used to live in Iowa City. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are saying that Biden's rallies, Biden's little things are not getting the numbers that Bernie is getting.
Oh, no. Bernie is killing everybody.
Yes.
And what's interesting is you're watching, you know, you're seeing what happened to the Republican Party happening to the Democrat Party. When we were all like, oh, my God, Trump's insane. No, let's go with Cruz. Let's go with Carly. Let's go with Perry. Let's go with Walker. These more established Republicans who feel like they could be president. And there was this group of people who said, no, fuck that. We want Trump. And what you're going to have happen now is people like us on the Democrat side are going, no, we need a Biden. We need a Warren. We need, you know, a Klobuchar, which New York, can you believe that New York Times picked her? But anyway.
I know.
God. We need a Karen.
Yeah, we need a Karen. Oh my God. We need these more established people.
She's Karen.
We need these Karens. And these people are like, no, fuck you, I want Bernie. And so they're going to end up with Bernie, which scares me because Trump won.
Right.
And they've got their Trump. And if you watch Bernie and the things he's talking about, it's scary stuff. They can call it socialist democracy all they want. It is socialism. And these field organizers who are getting caught, I don't know if you guys follow Project Veritas.
Yes.
James O'Keefe.
Oh, yeah. We saw that.
Terrible.
These guys
they're Antifa. They're Antifa, or however you want to say it.
They're communists.
Yes.
They're not socialists. They want to put us all in gulags. Hey guys, guess what? Russia's really progressive with women's rights. I'm like, are you high? What are you talking about? They're going to take up arms. They're going to re-educate us and put us in gulags. These are his field organizers saying these things. This is scary shit. And what's interesting is that he has AOC and he has Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, and he has the squad. He has Presley as well, Ayanna Presley. He has these women, and they have pull. And, you know, we make fun of them a lot because it's easy, but they attract voters. They attract these young people.
There was a time when somebody that got caught by Project Veritas saying such things would be repudiated by the party.
Yeah.
And all I saw was the circling of wagons around this guy. They were protecting him. And that tells me that basically the party actually supports what this guy, they want to burn us down. They want to put us in gulags. They believe in re-education.
Yeah.
It's just what Adam Schiff said today, you guys, that it's going to be a stolen election. That Trump is trying to rig the election. So honestly, they're preparing everybody for it because you know they're going to be burning in the streets.
Hold on a second. Casper, quiet. Shh. It's just Daddy. Sorry. My guard knocks at the door and Paula's trying to walk by. Casper's losing his shit. Sorry.
So we should always have a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. This is a dog-friendly show. But if your dog starts barking in the middle of the show, that's expected.
Well, Casper's got his own little personality on Twitter, so that was Casper, everybody. So say hello to Casper. Take him, Caleb. That's my son. Take him.
Take him.
All right. Thank you, honey. Love you. Oh, my son to the rescue. Sorry. Okay, we're back.
That is so funny. That's so funny.
So
anyway.
He was barking at the communists. That's what it was. He was barking at the communists.
He's a smart dog. He knows they're going to start burning everything in the streets once Trump wins. They're preparing their people for it.
Yes, it was, I think it is. And it's scary because, and you think about what they're doing with young people, and let's say you're 20 years old, you've got a lot of debt, you're not sure what you're going to do, you're scared, and you got some old guy said, hey man, I'm going to pay for all your stuff. That's what you want to hear. And, I'm not trying to say 20-year-olds are dumb. I'm not trying to be offensive, but when I was 20, I was dumb. And it was scary. And somebody comes in and says, hey, man, don't worry. I'm going to pay for your health care. I'm going to pay for your college. You're not going to be in debt. I'm going to make sure you have a place to live. And I tell you all these great things so I can control you. And these young people don't know what's happening. What they hear is all this good stuff. That's it.
Basically, you just described jail.
Yes.
You did. You described prison, and people don't see that.
They don't understand that when the government says, I'm giving you all this free stuff, that means I can take all this free stuff away from you when I want to. And you belong to me, and I make your decisions. When the government gives you anything like your basic needs, there is no freedom. And
let's not forget the life of Julia.
Oh, Julia.
Right? Oh, my God.
You remember Julia.
I remember Julia. Yes, I do. Oh, my God. But that was such a great analogy. It's like jail. And they don't get it. They don't understand they're being incarcerated. They think they're getting all this free stuff and that, the evil rich people are keeping their stuff from them. And they don't understand that it's, you might be poor for a while, but if you work hard in this country, you can get it really far. And it's just one of those great things to get out of your way. And they don't understand that. And I didn't get it when I was 20. So, they're being lied to and they're being used. And when you try and talk to them, they get very defensive very quickly. I think Bernie is their Trump, and we got to pay attention to what's going on with Bernie.
Oh, my God.
Very much. Very close.
The only thing that may help Trump is that you might get an entire portion of independents or whatever that either do not go to the polls and vote for Bernie or vote for Trump just because they don't want socialism or communism.
You're going to have that. Yeah, and you're going to have people like me who refused to vote for Trump last time, and there were a lot of us who are going to come and we're going to vote for him this time. So it's going to be an interesting election if the damn Democrats will get out of the way and let the people decide.
Oh, yes. I was fine. I did not vote for Trump last time. I wrote in my candidate. And this time, I'm going to make sure to vote for Trump. I have to.
And I appreciate you writing me in. That was very sweet of you.
I had to, Jody. You were the best candidate in my opinion.
I voted for Johnson, and it was because my daughter voted for Johnson at school. And I said, why'd you vote for him? She said, he seemed like the nicest one. I'm like, that works.
Oh, my God. At least you didn't vote for the crazy, what's his name? Starts with an M.
McMuffin?
Yes, McMuffin.
Yeah, McMuffin.
Oh, my God.
No, I voted for Johnson.
Does he not look like Megamind?
Yes.
I'm sorry, he does. I can't look at his face without thinking that.
I think of Rick Wilson when I think of Megamind because it's kind of that same. And somebody drew a big picture with his head all blown up. So ever since someone did that, I can't help but see Rick.
You know what? Rick Wilson. Oh, my God. What happened to that person? Seriously.
Rick was one of my favorite people. Rick is hilarious, smart guy, and I just think he got too deep, and now he has to keep going deeper to save his ass. And that's what happened with a lot of them. I think Tom really can't. I don't think Tom Nichols can say, you know what, I was wrong. I need to help because these people are crazy. They've doubled down so much they have nowhere else to go. And I think that's what happened with Rick. And it's too bad because I think Rick really was one of my favorite people to follow. Always funny, incredibly smart, really educated and informed. So it's really disappointing. So.
Well, why don't you guys tell everybody where everyone can find you on the web or Twitter or whatever?
Well, you can find me, Aggie. You can find me, Aggie, at Aggie Rican over on Twitter, and I'm also at the Divided podcast on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. Central is a time zone, okay? This is for Steven, who doesn't believe there is a central time zone.
It's like mountain. No one ever believes mountain's real. Okay, and you can find me on I'm on Twitter at Politibunny. That's POLITIBUNNY. You can find me here on the couch with these wonderful ladies on the Red Wine Show. You might even hear me do some reboot stuff with the Amish guy and some FUBAR. And you can hear me on a little website called twitchy.com. So I'm kind of everywhere.
Yeah, and it's really fun to follow Sam on Twitchy too, because she's got some very funny articles.
Oh.
So, and I did sign up for your VIP thing, Sam.
Oh my God, I love you. You're so beautiful. And everyone, they'll say, like, people think I own Twitchy. I don't run it. I just work there. So.
JD and Stacy own it, I thought.
That's right. JD and Stacy, they own it. And they gave me a job because, I was such a horrible person. Anyway, yeah, that's another story.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We had a wonderful chat room, and we just love you all.
Chat sex. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for having me, Jody.
Thank you, Jody.
You bet.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.